Black Hollow, even the name sent shivers down the spines of seasoned storytellers. Locals whispered tales of the ancient forest, their voices hushed, eyes wide with fear. They spoke of shadows that danced beneath the gnarled branches, whispers that seemed to seep from the very trees themselves. Some told of a darkness that clung to the woods, a malevolent presence that watched, waited. Black Hollow was a place of secrets, best left undisturbed. For generations, parents warned their children away from the forest's edge. Stay clear, they'd say, their voices grave. Don't let the darkness claim you. But whispers have a way of piquing curiosity. Legends, no matter how chilling, can beckon the adventurous soul. And young Sarah, with her thirst for the unknown, was about to learn the truth behind the whispers of Black Hollow.
I scoff at the tales. I'm not afraid of a few spooky stories. The townsfolk treat Black Hollow like a monster under their beds, a figment of their imaginations. I crave proof, tangible evidence of the horrors they describe. I long to feel the chill, hear the whispers for myself, to stand within the forest's embrace and declare it conquerable.
Don't go there, Sarah. It's not safe, especially not after dark.
But Sarah's mind was made up. She craved adventure, a break from the mundane routine of her small town. The forest, with its shroud of mystery, was a challenge she couldn't resist. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the land, Sarah turned towards Black Hollow, a defiant glint in her eyes. The air grew heavy as Sarah crossed the invisible threshold, stepping from the sun-dappled path into the forest's cool embrace. The trees, ancient and gnarled, seemed to reach for her, their branches intertwining overhead to form a dense canopy that choked the sunlight. The world became a tapestry of shadows, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine, but she pressed on, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. The silence was unnerving. Gone were the cheerful chirps of birds, the rustling of small animals. Only the sound of her own breath and the crunch of leaves beneath her feet broke the stillness. The deeper she ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The air grew colder, the shadows deeper, as if the forest itself were closing in around her. Doubt began to gnaw at the edges of Sarah's courage, but she refused to turn back. A sudden gust of wind rustled through the leaves, sending a shiver down Sarah's spine. It carried with it a sound, faint at first, like someone whispering her name. She stopped, holding her breath, straining to hear. The wind died down, and the forest fell silent once more. Had she imagined it? A trick of the wind playing on her nerves?
Sarah?
She continued on, her pace quickening. The whispers returned, growing louder now, swirling around her like a chorus of disembodied voices. They seemed to emanate from the trees themselves, their words unintelligible but laced with malice. Fear coiled in Sarah's stomach, but she pressed on, determined to uncover the source of the whispers. The forest floor became uneven, strewn with rocks and tangled roots.
Stumbling. Oh no!
Sarah stumbled, her eyes darting nervously around the darkening woods. Movement flickered at the edge of her vision.
Whispering. What is that?
She froze, her breath catching in her throat. The shadow moved closer, its form shifting and swirling like smoke.
Panicking. I have to get out of here.
Panic welled up inside Sarah, threatening to overwhelm her. She had to get out of there, escape the suffocating darkness of the woods.
Help us! Free us!
The haunting voices of the tormented spirits echoed through the forest, their pleas mingling with Sarah's rising fear. As the shadow approached, Sarah's mind raced, desperately seeking an explanation for the horrors unfolding around her. Visions flashed before her eyes, fragments of memories that weren't her own.
Confused. What is happening?
She saw a group of people, their faces contorted in terror, running through the woods. She heard screams piercing the night, the crackle of flames, the chilling laughter of something inhuman.
Horrified, no, this can't be real.
The visions intensified, bombarding her with snippets of a dark and bloody past. She saw a ritual taking place beneath the twisted branches, a sacrifice offered to appease an ancient evil. The air grew thick with the stench of fear and death, the taste of blood heavy on her tongue.
Struggling, I can't breathe.
The weight of the forest's history pressed down on her, threatening to crush her spirit.
Remember, remember.
The whispers of the past echoed in her mind, urging her to uncover the truth, to remember the forgotten secrets of Black Hollow. Section 7. The Twisted Clearing. Sarah stumbled back, her hand flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. The shadow recoiled as if burned, its form flickering and dissipating. She took the opportunity to flee, her legs finally responding to her terror. She ran blindly, crashing through the undergrowth, desperate to escape the whispers and the shadows that hunted her. She burst into a small clearing, the trees thinning to reveal a patch of moonlit sky. In the center stood a solitary tree, its trunk twisted into a grotesque parody of the human form. Its branches were bare, gnarled claws reaching towards the heavens. The air around the tree crackled with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of wrongness that sent chills down Sarah's spine. Section 8. Presence in the Darkness. As Sarah stared at the twisted tree, she realized with a growing sense of dread that she was not alone. The whispers had followed her, swirling around the clearing like a malevolent wind. And then she saw them. Emerging from the shadows, their forms indistinct, were the figures from her visions. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural light, their faces contorted in expressions of hunger and malice. They moved towards her slowly, deliberately, as if savoring her terror. Sarah felt a cold dread grip her heart. These were not simply shadows, but something ancient and evil, something that fed on fear and despair. She had stumbled into a nightmare, and there seemed to be no escape.
A whispering, join us in the darkness.
Echoing, there is no escape from the shadows.
Section 9. Flight through the forest. Adrenaline surged through Sarah's veins. She had to get out, had to escape the clutches of whatever lurked in this cursed clearing. She turned and ran, her lungs burning, her legs screaming in protest. The figures gave chase, their laughter echoing behind her, a chilling counterpoint to the pounding of her heart. Branches whipped at her face, thorns tore at her clothes, but she didn't dare slow down. The forest seemed to conspire against her, the path ahead twisting and turning, leading her further into its depths. But even as exhaustion threatened to overwhelm her, a glimmer of hope emerged. Through the trees, she spotted a faint light, the first sign of civilization she had seen in what felt like an eternity. Section 10. Forever Haunted. Summoning the last reserves of her strength, Sarah surged forward, her pursuers closing in. She burst through the tree line, stumbling onto the familiar path that led back to town. The light she had seen resolved itself into the warm glow of a street lamp, a beacon of safety in the encroaching darkness. Behind her, the whispers faded, the laughter dying away into the night. Sarah had escaped the clutches of Black Hollow, but the experience had changed her. The shadows of that night lingered in her mind, the whispers forever echoing in her ears. She had looked into the heart of darkness and emerged forever marked by the encounter. The forest held no more allure for her, its secrets forever intertwined with the terror she had faced. She carried the memory of that night within her, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the edge of the light.